if we don't plug the 1,350 miles that are wide open, and you're going to see some of this with what we expose over the next few months, you're going to see it wide open, and we can't leave it wide open. So if we put this solution together, I'm talking one-page, layman's terms. I'm working with some experts right now who are going to be able to come on in the coming weeks to explain how President Trump could do this unilaterally through an executive order, how the money has already been allocated through the Department of Defense funds that he was able to secure. So he can do this. We need to put this as a one-page solution. We're going to be launching Veterans for Border Security. We'll be reaching out to you guys via email in the next day or two to put that together. We're working with some angel families now. We're probably going to bring on one of them, Dan Golvach, tomorrow, who's been with President Trump 4 times. He supports this. He's going to bring an Angels for Border Security group together. We're going to unite the angel families who lost children at the hands of illegals with the veterans who are willing to go overseas and risk their lives to protect this country, this Constitution, and our sovereignty. And I think that's going to be a very powerful voice.
The United States-Mexico border is roughly 2,000 miles long. According to Customs and Border Patrol, on the day that President Donald Trump took office, there were roughly 1,350 miles of border that had zero barrier, and roughly 650 miles of border that had a combination of slats, roadblocks, concertina wire, or some form of fencing. Today, after 3 years of Donald Trump serving as president, there are still roughly 1,350 miles of border that have zero barrier, and roughly 650 miles of border that have a combination of slats, roadblocks, concertina wire, or some form of fencing. Recent reports by Customs and Border Patrol admit that the Trump administration has only constructed 81 miles of barrier, mostly steel slats ranging from 18 feet to 30 feet high, built in the 650 miles of area where some form of barrier already existed. This is often referred to as replacement barrier. The Trump administration has not built any barrier in the 1,350 miles of border where no barrier currently exists. Recent reports say that Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, is going to be taking over the White House marketing for the border. Their goal is to have 400 miles, including the 81 miles already constructed, completed by the end of the calendar year 2020, not by the 2020 election. But the majority of this 400 miles will only be replacement barrier and will not address the 1,350 miles where no barrier currently exists. As reported by Breitbart News in October of 2019, based on statistics provided by Customs and Border Patrol, the apprehension of migrants who crossed the border into the United States reached 1.1 million during fiscal year 2019. More than 850,000 crossed into the United States illegally. Of those, nearly 500,000 of the migrants were family units. The apprehension of migrants illegally crossing the border is at the highest level since 2007, when agents apprehended 858,638. This is dangerous. We are being invaded. At Team Ducote, we have developed a solution. We are working with experts. We are working with Middle America to bring you the solution to invasion, which is war. W for Wall, a TerraBlock solution system which can be rapidly deployed across the 1,350 miles that currently have no barrier. TerraBlock tells us that they can provide the system for under $1 billion, and this can be deployed by the Army Corps of Engineers, who we are already paying. A for Alarm, a PID, P-I-D, Perimeter Intrusion Detection System, a smart technology which would allow Customs and Border Patrol agents as well as National Guard to know when someone is trying to breach the system. And R for Responders, Manpower. We propose a National Guard rapid response team placed every mile along the 1,350 miles we are addressing. A 6-man team working in 8-hour shifts, 3 shifts per day, would only be roughly 25,000 National Guard. We can stop this problem. President Trump can do this through an executive order. He can do this by deploying National Guard through federal command, and he can do this with the money that has already been allocated through the Department of Defense. At Team Ducote, we are looking to provide solutions to securing our border and securing our sovereignty. We will work with other veterans, law enforcement, angel families, and any other Americans willing to get on board with a solution-based proposal. This is an invasion. We will bring the war.
Hello, American patriots. Douglas Ducote here. The Second Amendment, it's not for hunting. It's for protecting ourselves against our government. Well, the last thing you need to worry about is your weapon being rusted and not working. Folks, here's your product. FirearmGuard.com. Use promo code Doug for free shipping. This will protect your weapon from any rust and mildew issues. I'd like to bring on my producer real quick, Dustin Gold. Dustin, how are you, brother?
Doing wonderful, Doug. That was a great show. Yeah, look, I just want to reiterate based on what you just said. Doug is still going to be doing rants and talking about all the problems, but on some of these big issues, Team Ducote wants to lead. We want to lead on solutions. Now, people can challenge these solutions. You could come forward, email us anytime you want. You can email me, Dustin at DouglasDucote.com. Anything that comes through that's relevant, I get over to Doug. If you have other solutions, other ideas, bring them forward. But on border, I've been involved with this since 2006. People like Jerome Corsi's been writing about it since 2005. Jessica Vaughn's been in this battle for 20 years. We can't wait any longer. So we're going to bring forward this 3-pronged solution. It combines the wall element, which is TerraBlock. It combines an alarm element, which is the PID, the Penetration Intrusion Detection System. And then what we're putting together is an idea Doug brought forward a few months back on National Guard rapid response teams. So when people say, well, people can dig under it, they can go over it. First off, there's a 3.5-foot barbed wire coil that goes on the top of this system, which we're going to have diagrams of soon from HESCO and from Prevengo. Yes, people can tunnel under. It takes a while to dig a tunnel. It also causes vibration. It sets off the PID system. If you have a National Guard and or Customs and Border Patrol rapid response team, they can respond to that before people are able to dig over. The issue that we all see now through Jessica Vaughn and others is that once they're in the country, they, whether you like it or not, are under constitutional law and they have certain rights. That's stuff that we could talk about changing in the future, but right now that is the case. So once they're inside the country, we're pretty much screwed. So if we don't have a barrier, and again to the audience, I know some people just want to complain, say it's the end of the world, we're defeated, it's over with. If we don't plug the 1,350 miles that are wide open, and you're going to see some of this with what we expose over the next few months, you're going to see it wide open, and we can't leave it wide open. So if we put this solution together, I'm talking one-page, layman's terms. I'm working with some experts right now who are going to be able to come on in the coming weeks to explain how President Trump could do this unilaterally through an executive order, how the money has already been allocated through the Department of Defense funds that he was able to secure. So he can do this. We need to put this as a one-page solution. We're going to be launching Veterans for Border Security. We'll be reaching out to you guys via email in the next day or two to put that together. We're working with some angel families now. We're probably going to bring on one of them, Dan Golvach, tomorrow, who's been with President Trump 4 times. He supports this. He's going to bring an Angels for Border Security group together. We're going to unite the angel families who lost children at the hands of illegals with the veterans who are willing to go overseas and risk their lives to protect this country, this Constitution, and our sovereignty. And I think that's going to be a very powerful voice. And as we branch outward, we may be able to get the Border Patrol Union, who endorsed President Trump, on board, some of the sheriff's associations. So if we could bring law enforcement, veterans, Border Patrol, angel families, and all of you, middle America, together behind this solution, and I think you're going to start to see Doug on some television programs and radio programs, hopefully with Dan Golvach soon, representing the Veterans for Border Security and Angels for Border Security. And if we can make that happen, we have to demand a meeting, not a photo op, a meeting with either Stephen Miller, he's one of Donald Trump's senior advisors, who's one of our immigration allies, with Ken Cuccinelli, who's currently the immigration czar, or with President Trump himself, or maybe even Jared Kushner, who I've read is now taking over this border initiative. Pretty weird for a guy who was pretty much open borders. So I think if we can put the solution out there, it covers all the bases. No one else is doing this. No think tank in Washington has a one-page solution that combines a physical element, combines smart technology, and combines manpower. And if we can do this, we should be able to demand a meeting on behalf of the people. Look, the Chamber of Commerce, all the big business lobby, all of the military-industrial complex guys get a seat at the table when it comes to immigration and border security. We want to represent the people. We want a seat at the table to truly represent the Angel families and the veterans and law enforcement and all of you American patriots across this country. It's our duty to do this. It's our right to do this. And we need to start demanding a seat at the table, no longer just photo ops and showing up at rallies. It goes above and beyond this. President Trump has to be aware of this, and he has to answer. Why aren't you doing it if we have the experts saying that you can legally do it? And that is the only way we are going to solve the problems in this country. We're going to secure our border, secure our sovereignty, then deal with the 20 to 40 million illegals that are already here, deal with the H-1B system. Those are discussions that come down the road, but there is no point, even as President Trump floated a few months ago, that he wanted to use the Insurrection Act to use the army to round up illegals in the country. What is the point of doing that if your border isn't secured? That's like saying you're going to arrest a bunch of cartel members and throw them in a prison, but the prison doesn't exist. It's just a piece of land they bought, and we're going to just dump them on the land and say, stay there? So this needs to happen. I know Doug will lead this. I know you guys have some faults with Jerome Corsi or whatever. Look, I've known him for 12 years. He's on board with this. I work with people that are allies when the moment comes together for us to work with allies. We cannot always be fighting. We have to unite with the people that are offering solutions. We have to become a solution-based platform. We need to stop whining. We need to start coming together. People like Magdalene Rose, the 20-year-old conservative you've seen Doug with a few times. She's working on a long-term education solution, something that may not come to fruition for 5 to 10 years. That's the reality. Yes, we sat back on our asses and let this country go to hell over the last 50 years. Now we are seeing what occurred because of that. It is our job. Patriots, rise up, bring solutions forward, and let's start demanding a seat at the table.
Amen. Couldn't have said it better. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. You're doing a great job.
Listen, my friends, we currently have 136,000 people subscribed just to the YouTube channel. Our videos have been watched almost 17 million times. So with those two numbers I just threw out at you, there's no reason why when this video gets uploaded tonight, after the live program is over, it normally takes 30 minutes to an hour, that this isn't shared 100,000 times across social media at a minimum. Share this program. Let the world know that you're an American patriot that cares about this country and its security, and help us spread the word about Terror Block. We have to have this now. We cannot wait. We cannot have another American citizen die at the hands of an illegal immigrant, or die because an illegal immigrant was driving a car intoxicated, or an illegal immigrant for any reason, shape, or form that shouldn't be here. And we have Americans dying all the time. You only hear about certain ones, but trust me, the numbers are big. the American citizens that are dying because of people that came across the border that shouldn't have, bad elements, bad people with bad intentions. Help us secure this border by getting the word out there. Again, thanks to all my guests. It's always a pleasure to have you on.